All right, welcome to Really Real Outdoors. We are down here at the salmon show, or the fishing show here, Ultimate Fishing Show in Grand Rapids with the steelheaders, West Michigan chapters, mostly of the steelheaders, and doing a little captain roundtable. Today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about spring presentations for the ports that we're in. So we have a few different ports represented here, but before we get started, I'm gonna just have these guys do a quick intro.
Captain Paul Zelenka and Betty Lou Sportfishing out of Port Sheldon, just a little south of Grand Haven.
Captain Jarrod. I run JB's Custom Charters, and I fish out of Ludington.
I'm Captain Jarrod. I run Last Call Sportfishing out of Grand Haven.
I could start. I mainly target kings. My season starts in May, or the last weekend of April, and early in the spring. It's a little bit tougher to find some stained or dirty water up by Ludington, but I do try to fish that stained or dirty water, and a lot of brighter colors, like the KC1, mixed veggies, orange, I think work really good in the spring. Also, I think a lot of people just, think that plugs are just for the fall pierhead bite, but in the spring, if you're fishing dirtier water and you could find that water, I think that the plugs are also a good option that I've seen a lot of success in the spring, but it's specific to fishing dirty water. Also in the spring, I know a lot of guys wait till June and to bring out meat rigs, but me personally, I'm throwing meat rigs, the same meat rigs I'm throwing in August and July, I'm throwing the spring first trip out. But yeah, it's pretty much the same program that I run. I think just mixing in some brighter color spoons when you find that stained water, and also not to be afraid to try some different things with plugs and meat as well.
Mm-hmm. Same thing for me. I run, in the springtime, like almost all stingers. Everything's got stingers on it. Either that or thin fins. But yeah, all bright stuff. This is a Stinger Inmate, yellow UV Inmate. That one's real good. I think it's the yellow UV Trans helmet, something like that. UV helmet. Any sort of veggie, UV veggie, stuff like that. And my favorite one, UV NASCAR. That one's good. That one's good. Fishing that stained water and going kind of fast too. Looking for all those pods of bait, circling on the pods of bait right in front of the pier heads.
So I call it NASCAR, right?
No, Grand Haven, you're typically targeting cohos,
kings, browns.
You do get some browns though too.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing last year some really good browns.
Well, last year,
there.
I caught, even all year long, I don't by accident, but
yeah,
I caught like 36 browns last year.
Holy cow.
Wow.
It was nuts. I was catching them on like 8-inch paddles down like 120 foot on the chute.
I caught like 8.
Yeah, it was
I only
crazy.
brownfish twice though.
It was crazy. I was even brown fishing. It was out there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, a lot of bright colors.
Yeah, for us, we're doing a similar program, running a lot of smaller baits like the Agent Orange. This one is really good early on, which is a mini streak Wolverine in a greasy chicken wing. And actually, my brother was out fun fishing on his center console on Thursday. He was trolling in and out of the icebergs, and he ended up with several browns. And this is a killer lake trout bait when they're in that 30, 40 foot of water. And it's a little tiny spoon. The bad part is we sometimes will replace the hook because, a 3-4 pound coho or a 5-6 pound lake trout will destroy these little hooks. But that works really good. Typically a little smaller bait, targeting those fish, running a little faster, and our presentation is short leads, usually 2 colors to 7 colors, running them on our boards, and our riggers, and smaller braid divers. Pick our speeds up usually to 3, 3, 2. If we find the fish, we'll slow down, then circle around that pod. But by us, those pods can be fairly spread out. You might get nothing, have to go 3-4 miles, and then bang, you hit them again. You better swing back around and come back on them again.
Yeah.
Guys who even fish the beach, they'll run this kind of stuff up, or with thin fins, running 10, 12 feet of water and run their boards right up in between the sandbars.
Yeah.
You see a lot of guys doing that.
And that's the technique in Ludington for browns. You're fishing the sandbars. Usually between the second and third sandbars where I like to drive the boat.
Yeah.
Can't always do that with the big boats. You might have to stay outside the third, but get yourself into a little pickle once in a while.
Start stirring up dirt.
Oh, it makes your props nice and shiny.
Right.
How about like what line are you lowering your line, your poundage of line or anything like that?
Not really. Not.
I haven't changed it because the other thing I found during spring, especially in the month of May, yeah, you might be getting a lot of, nice cohos that are 3, 4, 5 pounders, maybe even a little bigger, and then all of a sudden a
Big
20-pound king comes wandering in and just smokes everything. So
Yeah.
I know guys who swap out and are running 12 to 17-pound test. I leave the same thing on all year.
25 everywhere.
Yeah.
Size of divers, 40 on the divers still.
That's like for brown fishing for us, we're 12 to 15 pound leaders, fluorocarbon leaders. I mean, it's all stealth, and then you put a diver right next to the boat, and it takes half your browns. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do downsize quite a bit, and then but we get a pretty good separation between when the kings are there and when the kings are not there. And they're generally out a little bit deeper for us, which isn't real far to get to, but. The bait stays out there. They seem to stay out there. So
We'll have it,
but it is fun
Yeah.
on a light rod to hook a big
Absolutely.
king.
You're catching those smaller fish, those browns and whatnot, and those cohos, and then you hear like down in Holland they're getting kings, and then the next day you're out there and
Yeah,
here they are.
it's fun
you
when
by surprise.
you're watching a little planer board slowly go back, kind of like a walleye, and then one day that little planer board starts skipping backwards across the water, and you either caught something on the bottom or the kings are there.
Or it goes under like a bobber.
Yeah, your riggers are no longer viciously vibrating.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys got some great information from all these captains. Thank you guys for being on the show, and hopefully we'll have another conversation like this again soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time to get out there. Get your rods ready.
That it is.
Get that boat waxed. If you want practice waxing, just call me up. I'll show you what you can practice on. But anyways, springtime's here, and it's time to get out there and go chase those kings.
Heck yeah.
Yep.